Talking to Pip from Devil Electric. Thanks for joining me.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on. Now, coming from Melbourne, no one's probably been more affected by things than Melbourne people have. So give us a rundown on what it did to the band, how it affected everything.
Yeah.
And how you got through it.
Yeah, well, it's been a journey, that's for sure. So we literally were releasing the album, like our whole release plan was, so All My Friends Move Like the Night, that came out March last year.
Yeah.
So that was literally the first single off the album. And then by May, we're going to have the album out. Yeah. And it just so happened that that weekend was the weekend that we went into the first lockdown, and that was the national lockdown across Australia. And I don't think any of us could have anticipated what then happened. But yeah, we literally, it was funny because like we kind of like had this like weird show. It was like when everyone was like pilfering toilet paper and like, you know, there was all the news. It was that weekend. Like, yeah. So it was like an eerie, strange time to be playing sort of a launch gig, and we tossed up whether or not we should go ahead with it because we knew there was a lot of nervousness, but we went ahead with it all the same. And then released the tape a few weeks later, and then we just were like, it's gonna, because obviously our like label is German, so they were then going into lockdowns and things like that over there. There was a lot of uncertainty with when the vinyl will be ready, so we were just like, let's just postpone it for now and see what happens. And so we just waited and basically waited it out. But we also had to cancel, much to my sadness. We lined up to play this this little rock festival in Sweden called Muscle Rock. And you know, when you're just so excited, like it was going to be our first time overseas, like not overseas, sorry, over in Europe. We've been to Indo before, but yeah, so it was this whole thing, and we basically just had to then kind of wait until we could find a date that worked. And so we sort of kept talking about dates, but then they get pushed back, and then we had to wait for the vinyl. Obviously that was like a year delayed, so we got there in the end. So
so the album's been recorded and like in the can for that long.
Yeah. So we literally first started launching this March last year, and then finally now the album is out. So
wow.
Yeah. And like we had recorded the album pre-COVID, so we've obviously had it like now but it feels like had it for a few years now, but it feels like almost that period of time that was all of those lockdowns just didn't happen. Like it's weird. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's been. But
so tell us about some of the tracks on there. What are your favorites? Any personal experiences, stories behind them that you want to share?
So most of the album is like personal experience for me. Like I can only write from what I know, basically. I'm not that creative. But no, I I'm not, I'm pretty basic. But so essentially it's like kind of all of these, it's like all of my stories. Part of it was sorry, my cat's just walked in, if you can hear the bell. Part of it was kind of personal experiences, things that I was feeling off the back of the release of the first album as well. So like, you know, there was a lot of awesome feedback off the first one, but weird feedback in terms of like a lot of people weren't super stoked to hear a female singer. I think, you know, with some of the feedback I got, which was disappointing.
I love it. There should be more of it, I reckon.
I know. I didn't even think of it. Like it was not something I'd thought about. So some of it was that, and then some of it was just what was kind of happening around us at the time. Like, so yeah, the album's kind of this peppering of lyrics of different things that have like sort of come about over the last couple of years for me. But it was also, I used this bookshelf in my room as kind of the, like, how do I explain it? It was almost like it sits there in my room and I look at it all the time, and it's full of all these books. And I think before I go into rehearsal, I'm always running late with lyrics. Like I'm very disorganized, and I super leave the last time. I work way better under pressure. So I just kind of was looking at this bookshelf and looking at the titles of the songs, and I sort of incorporated that into and my story. So it's almost like my story is told through this, like these books is kind of like this analogy. So it's like this weird mishmash of things. Yeah.
Your window to the world almost.
Yeah. So if you could, and I take things from like, you know, Plato's Cave, The Great Gatsby and stuff like that, but it's like my story. So like all my friends move like the night is using themes from The Great Gatsby, but obviously talking.
Yeah, okay. That was an interesting song title. That I was going to ask you about that, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why we called it that. It's a really long name, but it kind of made sense. Like it's all about, you know, kind of, and you know, I'm the worst. Like for years, I'm like, one day I'll grow up. I will never grow up. I'm pretty sure I'll just keep partying as much as I do. But like, it's that kind of, you know, realization when you've been kind of doing the same thing going on however many years, and you're looking around being like, oh, we're all starting to look a bit different. We're still doing the same
it's
thing.
how old you are up here.
Exactly, yeah.
Up here, I'm still 18.
Yeah. Oh, I'm like, I don't think I've gone past 16. I think I'm still as I was when I was 16. Yeah.
Right now, what's happening now then? Are you able to get out and tour this? You must be like absolutely busting to get out and actually play some of these songs live, but what's happening? Have you been able to organise anything?
We have. So because we've been in and out of so many lockdowns, we attempted to sort of get together and jam and try and line stuff up, but because we just kept jumping in and out, we kind of parked it for a little bit, and we're like, okay, we'll pick a date when we can release the album that is in line with when we think we can get the vinyl to Australia. And then we came out of lockdown, so we weren't expecting to be out by the time the album came out. So now that we are,
that's a pretty sad way of thinking, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. We're like, so there's so much uncertainty. We're like, let's just pick a date. I think we can get the album like into the country by that time. So so now we can line up shows again. So we're definitely talking about it. It'll probably be early next year at this point, just because we're so close to Christmas and things like that. So we'll definitely play, because I think, you know, part of the joy of being in a band is like playing live, like most of the joy of being in a band playing live. And I think as a band together, that's kind of where it's a huge part of who we are. Devil Electric, like our live show is important to us, and I think all of us are desperate to play a show.
Yeah, you must be.
So, yeah.
Were you able to get together and jam very often at all, or, you know, at all?
We haven't jammed yet. So it's been since March last year was the last time we played. I think that's the last time we've all been in a room together. Like, we've seen each other separately, like, but we haven't really seen or had a chance to come together as a band since last year. So it's like we have like our Zoom meetings and stuff like that throughout lockdown, trying to sort of re-strategize everything. But yeah, we haven't jammed. So hopefully we still know how to play.
You should have moved into a house together as a band.
I know, that would have been a fun reflection, definitely. Next pandemic, I'll make sure
be like the Partridge Family at the next pandemic.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so I think we definitely are desperate to play together. I'm sure the boys have got a million things that they've been writing. I know I've been writing lyrics and tinkering with things, during lockdown and stuff, because there's not much else to do when you're sort of sitting at home. In like after curfew on a Friday night. So
yeah. I mean, we've had restrictions over here, but we haven't had anything near what you've had over there. So we really feel for you, and we're rooting for you. So come on out. So early next year we're looking at gigs. So with the release of this album, how's the reaction been to it? It's been out a week now. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
I've been playing it.
Amazing.
How has the reaction been to it? Good.
The reaction is very good. Yeah, I'm stoked, because I feel this one is very important to us. It's obviously our second album of the, our first one did really well for us. It like probably better than we all expected.
Right.
And this one, but the difference with this one, I think, is that we, as a band, like this is more of a representation of all of us, I'd say. So it's because we knew each other, when we obviously recorded the first album, but probably not as well as we did when we recorded this second album. And I think one of the things that we tried to take in to the process of this one was like not overthinking anything. There was stuff that organically came out in the recording sessions that made it onto the album that we hadn't done prior to that point. So I think this one means a lot to us. It's all of us represented, I think, quite evenly. And I hope everyone is loving it as much as they seem to be. So yeah, the response has been amazing for us. So we're very thankful, obviously.
Just on the recording thing, you mentioned how it was recorded, quite some time ago now.
Yeah.
Back when we were all much younger. Was it recorded and sort of got ready and then left alone, or did you go back and tinker with it on the meantime?
No. So we didn't touch it, and that was actually great because I don't know, like about other people, but when I'm going through the recording, the album process is so fun and exciting, and at the same time, I find it quite like you get to the end and you've heard the song so many times, you almost like just want to get it out and don't want to listen to it anymore. And you don't lose the joy, but you lose some of it, I guess. And I think having the, I guess the time to step away from it. And I literally didn't listen to it for probably 12 months. Then to listen to it again, I was like, I had this almost like Renaissance moment with it, where I was like, this is good. And I think I felt like this overwhelming sense of achievement and stuff. So I was like, it was kind of, even though obviously we had to delay it much longer than we wanted to, I think being able to step away and re-listen to it kind of did like wonders for us.
No, it's good because it'd be new again for you.
Yeah, exactly. And you think like, the time and effort and all the things, and you can hear every moment of like writing the songs. And you kind of feel that again. It's that same excitement when you're like, I remember when we did that, or like, so yeah.
No, so that's good. So the album is all fresh and new again.
It is.
And just come out. Excellent. And hopefully you'll be out on the road touring that early next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Tell us about the lineup. You've managed to keep the same lineup through this very difficult time. How have you managed that? Yeah,
I think that we're all really close friends. Like we've developed almost like a kinship, I'd say. I feel very lucky. Like we're all very opinionated people. Like absolutely we'll fight it out if we need to. And we do. Sometimes to the point where we have to step away. But
is that the Italian coming out in you?
Yeah. I don't think the boys knew what they were in for when they, invited a Irish Italian woman to come sing in their band. But so I think, we're very honest, but like with each other, but we're also very caring. Like we understand each other. We've all got, different things going on in our lives at different times. So everyone is super supportive, and I think that's a huge part of it. And we've all got, apart from, I don't, but the boys have got other bands, like Christos and Tom obviously play in other bands, and so we need to give everyone space for different things and stuff like that. So we're kind of, it's almost like having three other brothers, I guess, like is the best way of describing it. And I think that's part of the reason we've all stuck together. Because we genuinely kind of care about each other. We're all kind of family at this point.
What's your typical venue that Devil Electric will play at in Melbourne? Many places to play over there, and has the pre-lockdown, post-lockdown venue number availability changed?
There has been some losses, yes, but I think we're like Melbourne it's been devastating. Like, if I was gonna be honest, like, the lockdowns have been absolutely devastating on the arts. I think hopefully now that we're coming out of it, obviously dance floors are back as of this weekend, so it seems like we're coming back, but I think that it'll be interesting to see who survived and who hasn't. I think most of the venues we play have been lucky enough to get through, but I mean, it's been so hard on everyone, and I don't envy you know, a lot of my friends who have venues and things like that, because I know it hasn't been, it's yo-yoing in and out of lockdown was absolutely devastating for them. But having said that, like, it's feeling good. I've seen like Cherry's back, you know, and they've got gigs happening again, so we play Cherry a fair bit. Love Cherry Bar, always have. They've always been big supporters of the band as well. Places like the Ev, the Tote, all of those places are amazing. You know, and basically we'll play anywhere that will have us. We love it. Yeah, so no, but it's good to see things are starting to sort of come back. I went out a little bit last night just to see what was happening, and people are everywhere, so
yeah, good.
Yeah. So
it's good. Right, what's the funniest thing that's happened to you related to music? Could be a funny moment in the studio, on tour, in the green room, on stage.
Good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like literally so like almost like clumsy and ridiculous that I'm always embarrassing myself somehow, some way. But funniest thing, really probably like the weirdest thing that has happened was we were on before lockdown, obviously, and before COVID, we're on tour with Truck Fighters, and we were in we were in Canberra, and it was kind of like the second last night before we got to Melbourne, and we'd been touring together a little bit, but we hadn't really like sat down and had drinks and stuff together because we were sort of one after the other, and it was in the middle of the bushfire, so it was incredibly stressful. Like, so we're in Canberra, played this show, and then the next night to Melbourne, so we're all sitting down at the place we were staying at having drinks, and one of the guys, I can't remember which one, I think it was maybe the drummer, he went off and to talk to his wife, and then like 10 minutes later we see him like running down the street, because we're in this like kind of like, I don't know that much about Canberra, but wherever we were, it was very bushlandy, and there was like, so he was like running like full pelt down the street, and we could see him running, and we're like, what's going on? Like we're all kind of looking at him, and then we could see this thing chasing him, and we're like, is that a dog? And then we look closer, and he was literally getting chased by a kangaroo. I've never seen anyone be chased by a kangaroo before, and we're like, that is so unusual. Yeah, and I'm like, it's like the most Australian thing that's ever happened on tour, and I was like, I don't.
Excellent. Did it beat him up?
The Joey, no. So he got in.
Oh,
yeah. He got a bit too close to the Joey, and the mum chased him literally down the street. So
that's unreal, isn't it?
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Hey, Pip from Devil Electric, thanks for having a chat to me. Great album out just recently, Godless. You can check them out on Bandcamp, good old Bandcamp.
Yeah.
You have one time of Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Really good luck with it. Hope you get out on tour very soon. Hopefully come across the border sometime.
Oh, definitely we will. Can't wait. Actually, cannot wait for that. So, yeah, watch this space.
Watch this space. Excellent. Thanks for talking to me.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Trademark moment. You got to get right up in close to the camera, please.
Okay. Like this?
Horns, please. Excellent. Thank you so much. Important to be heavy metal about it. All right.
Love it.
Good to talk to you. Have a great day.
Bye.